When it comes to social media, how often should you be checking your analytics? Now, that's really going to depend on how much you want to succeed inside of your industry, how quickly you want to grow, and how much content you are putting out. So if you're only putting out content a little bit, you don't have to check them as much as if you're putting out a lot of content. I do recommend having a schedule for your analytics. So you want to make sure that you are aware of when you are going to be checking them. I don't want you to just check them when you feel like it, because you'll likely forget and then it will take a long time. So work it into your schedule. Have an actual set day every week or every couple times a month, or every day, depending on what you're doing, to check your analytics. The more you check your analytics, the more you know about the content that you're creating, what is working, what is trending right now, what are some things that you should be jumping on or revisiting, what you should be reposting. The more you check your analytics, the more you're going to know. I recommend checking your analytics about once a week as a good baseline for this. I do not recommend waiting and doing it just once a month or twice a month. I want you to be doing it more than that, because the more frequently you check it, the more you're going to know how to pivot, how to change. Sometimes you're going to be posting something on like TikTok and it will take off a month, 2 months, 6 months after you post it, and you won't know it unless you check your analytics because it's so far down in your feed. I've had this happen time and time again. The algorithms on all the social platforms will just pick up my old content that did okay or it did well back then, and it's just flooding the FYP or the Explore tab with it right now. And I won't know that unless I check my analytics. So I like to check my analytics frequently. I check my analytics on YouTube every single day. I am in there. I want to know what's making me money. I want to know what's popular. I want to know what's being popular in the last 48 hours, in the last 28 days. I want to know how my videos that I have posted have done in the first 24 hours, the first whatever hours of it being posted. I need to know those analytics because that's where my money maker is. YouTube is where I am monetized the best, where I'm making the most money just based on my content. So I can then go in and see, okay, what's popular right now? What's making me money right now? What videos have made me the most money? What topics have made me the most money? Is something trending in society that is now popping off my older content? I want to know that so I can lean back into it, so I can repost older content, so I can create new content that parlays off of that. I need to know what's happening right now on my YouTube so that I can pivot, so that I can change, so that I can create content that's going to work in my advantage for that. My TikTok, I don't check that as often, and I don't check my my Instagram or my Lemon8 as often. I usually do that once a week. That's a pretty staple form of that social media, just because I'm putting out a ton of short form content on that, a ton of photos, a ton of albums, a ton of carousels. I'm putting out a lot of content, and I don't need to know as much because I can get a lot of the feel from that based off of what I'm doing on my other social platforms. I heavily invest into those based on some of my other social things like my YouTube channel. So I'll check it once a week staple, but then I'll also check it, a couple of extra times throughout the week when I think about it, or if I notice something popping off or I'm getting a ton of notifications on something. I always go in and check when I'm getting a ton of notifications. So you need to come up with a schedule for you, put it on your calendar, spend 20 minutes looking at your analytics, spend an hour looking at your analytics, depending on how deep you want to go with this. The more deep you go, the more you can learn, the more you can grow, the more money you can make, because you can make those pivots better. But it depends on what you want. If you're newer, maybe you don't need to check it as much, or maybe you do need to check it as much. And when you're more advanced, you already know what's going on, how things work. Maybe you need to check it less, or maybe you need to check it more. It really depends on your business. Again, I recommend no less than once a week. If you can do it more than once a week, depending on how much content you're putting out there and how much you want to get back from this, do it. Based on your schedule, do what you have to do. I can say with great assurance, a good thing for you to do is have a staple time every single week to check your analytics. And then throughout the week, if you have time, if something's popping off, if you notice something, add things in. That's great. But then you always have one time per week where you for sure are checking your analytics, and then you can get extra information when you notice things happening inside of your platforms as well. Analytics are going to be really important so that you can make more money on your social platforms. Lean into what is working so that you can grow faster, stronger, better. And the more you are aware of your analytics and how those work based on each individual platform and what information they're giving you and how you can then leverage that, the better you're going to grow, the more you're going to be able to do, and the better you can serve your audience. Analytics are our friends. Learning how to understand analytics and then move forward from there makes or breaks your business. Analytics are your lifeblood. Learn them, leverage them, and really monetize the heck out of them.